Welcome to episode 73 of the Wilderness Podcast, your show done for casuals, done by casuals. I'm your host, Dills, and with me, as always, is Deegan.
You know, I'm not really the biggest fan of casuals for casuals.
What do you want to say?
How about the Wilderness Podcast? We don't only talk about PvP. we talk PVM too.
A little bit of everything. We're the RuneScape variety show. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Anyways, how was your week? Anything exciting going on?
Yeah, quite a bit. I'll start off with real life. My mouse broke. My mouse that I've used for like,
Since
5
you were
years.
born? Oh, 5 years. Shit.
So that bad boy broke,
Damn.
which made me have to use my backup mouse, which is a 2014 Razer Naga, and that is the shittiest mouse in the world.
I love how you have like the model down like to the year.
Well, if you know mice,
Nope.
okay, this mouse, it's like a Naga, so there's buttons on the side.
Ooh.
But it's like when I use it, it's like I'm playing RuneScape with a shot put ball. Like it's so big and bulky.
Nice.
Like, dude, it's so bad. Yeah. So I've been complaining a lot about having to use that mouse. My Logitech mouse, it just, I don't know. That's like the mouse I've been using. I used to use. I already miss it. But it started double clicking. So I can't, like, there's times I try and put like an overhead up in a raid, and I immediately take it down.
Dude, it's the ultimate prayer flicking mouse.
No. No.
All right.
I was getting so heated. Dude, I couldn't, like, I would try and move my potions to organize them, and I would just be drinking them.
Oh, fuck, that's rough.
Yeah.
See, I have, I don't really know mice. I just find one that looks good and usually works. I don't want to spend too much money on it because I know you can get fucking crazy with it and spend like $200 on one, but mine's the M15 Division 0 by Dasky Board. So there's a free little plug, but it's done the trick.
Here's the counter plug. I really don't like that mouse, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, you know that mouse.
Well, I've used yours.
Oh, right. Okay. Why? What's wrong with it?
It's fucking heavy. It's a heavy mouse.
Well, I mean, I don't have to pick it up or anything.
Okay, so I play a lot of shooters.
Yeah.
And so I'm really particular about my mice.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have small hands, so it limits, like, the kinds of mice I get.
Oh,
I
true.
usually get, like, small light mice that are, like, good. Anyways, I don't know. I was using your mouse, and I just, like, noticed it's heavy. Maybe that's a me issue. I am really, like, particular about my mice, though.
Yeah, see, I'm not at all. As long as it clicks, it does the trick. But I remember seeing, you used to have, like, 6 mice for different games. You'd have, like, a World of Warcraft mouse, a Counter-Strike mouse.
Well, like, I had mice that I would get, and I was pretty much just trying to find which mouse worked for me. You know what I mean? I did have one for, like, school/WoW. And then I had one for, like, CS and stuff, yeah, because, I don't know, you know, I was going super hard at CS for, like, the longest time, so.
Yeah, I have a friend where he can, like, insert weights onto his, and he, like, whatever. It's, like, super customizable to, like, the size of your hand.
Yeah, rats are gross. Those are called rats. At least that's what I've always called them. Me and my buddies call them rats.
Is that a company, or is that a...
I don't even know. I've just always referred to them as a rat. It could be a company. I don't know. We just call them, like, rats. Because they're not mice. They're fucking rats.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
I bought one, actually, long time ago, because I didn't know mice. And my mouse, I weighed it, and it was, like, 2 pounds. And I was playing, like, imagine Counter-Strike, like, swiping across your mouse pad holding 2 pounds. Like, your fucking wrist hurts so much after 30 minutes.
You got to two-hand it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So a little bit of tech talk for if anyone knows what the hell's going on, because yeah, I'm out of the loop. Like I said, I just buy a mouse that's cheap and works, but not super cheap. A little more expensive than the cheap Walmart ones.
True. You gotta look at that lift-off, radius, the lift-off height. You gotta look at the sensors and shit. It's kind of important if you're, like, playing shooters and stuff. Anyways, doesn't matter. I got the Nixius Rebel.
Nixius Rebel. That sounds... What is that, 2017 model? Are you going full 2018?
I think it's 2016.
2016, that's a good year.
No. I think it's 2017. I don't know. It's, I got it, like, literally 30 minutes ago.
Oh, wow, nice.
I kind of, like, stayed away from playing games too much when I started using my Naga, because like I try and play shooters, and the way the buttons sit, like you have to grip it kind of tight unless you want to throw your mouse across the room. You know what I mean? Okay. You gotta hold like the mouse sturdy, and I would like press 1 or 2, and I'd be shooting someone. I'd fucking pull out my pistol, and I'd like, okay, just get up, do a little walk around my room because I'm pissed. Anyways, though, it doesn't matter. No one really cares about mice. So what else happened? I been playing like Kingdom Come Deliverance. You know, that game's always fun.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that game randomly. Like, I heard nothing about it until it was released, and then I just started seeing all these reviews and kind of looked into it. The game looks fucking cool. It's like a Skyrim, but non-fantasy and super realistic.
Yeah, it's really cool how they like do the progression in the game. It is really buggy. As of right now, I can't talk to certain NPCs, or else my game soft locks.
What's soft lock?
Soft locking is like I'll be stuck in a cutscene. The game's not frozen, but I can't do anything.
Oh, no way. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah, so I have to avoid a bunch of NPCs, which sucks. But update will come out soon. I pretty much beat the game by now, though. I'm at like the very end of it.
Really?
Yeah, unless there's like a weird twist in. I don't know if I am, but like the way the main story's been going, it's like this is the end, or like there's a meteor about to hit the world. You gotta stop it. Like, you know what I mean? Like a complete shift in the story, like complete opposite of what I'm doing right now. I don't know. It is a really fun game. It's cool. It's pretty challenging too in the beginning, because like you don't know how to play, but your character, like Henry, is an idiot and doesn't know how to do anything as well. Doesn't know how to shoot a bow, and you don't know how to shoot a bow either, so you have to like kind of practice, and he gets better at it as you get better at it.
Damn.
It's really, really fun. He doesn't even, like, you gotta learn how to read. I don't know, I like it.
Like, in the game, you have to learn how to read. Right?
Yeah, like, if you try to read beforehand, you're like, the dude's super dyslexic. All the words are super jumbled.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So you can't meta game super hard.
Interesting. Is it like a linear game or open world?
Yeah, it's open world.
That's sick. Yeah, the game looks awesome. I saw some reviews and they were saying like even the quests, there's nothing to really read that tells you what to do, or no markers on the map for you to go follow. It's kind of like, you gotta go figure out, like if someone gets kidnapped, you have to go to the area that somebody last saw them, and you'll have to look for clues. And
yeah, well,
like
some
that.
quests, they don't have marker. Well, they have like, in this general area, but there are markers for the quests and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a fun game, but a lot of issues. A lot of bugs. I can deal with it though. I don't mind. I'm used to like early access shit, so as you guys probably know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Other than that, like I think that's like really the like only game I've actually played that's worth talking about. Obviously, I played RuneScape, so I'll jump into that now. This week I did some Sire. Did like 100 kills.
Abyssal Sire.
Yeah, I did like 120 kills of Sire, I think.
Shit.
So I'm getting close to when I should be getting my next Unsire, and hopefully that's my last bludgeon piece. Because I really don't like killing Sire. I don't like the boss.
Why is that?
He's really easy, and I feel like, because the way I did it, I've talked about it, but I teleport after every kill, and I use my home portal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started doing that too when you mentioned it, and it makes the kill so much easier.
And cheaper,
Not
too.
easier. Yeah, that's the thing. It's cheaper. I don't have to fucking...
Blood barrage 20 times, yeah. So, like, the fight is easy, but sometimes, like, okay, you kill the respiratory systems, and now you're killing him, and you're praying, like, you're doing the first phase, you're praying melee, and boom, he does a melee attack, hits you for 30. And you're like, oh, I was praying that. But if you don't pray it, he fucks you up.
Yeah, the prayer does like makes him do like half damage or some shit.
Yeah, it's fucked though. Like I get like there's times where like I can't hit, like I double spec with my Dragon Warhammers, I like miss, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a slow fight, and then I sit there and I sit there and I sit there. And by the time I get him to his next phase, I have to teleport out, heal, and quickly run back and finish him off because I'm down to like 30 health. And I really don't like fights where like I feel like is this gonna be like, am I rolling, like, is this RNG? Am I just waiting for RNG to like fuck me over and I die? Am I gonna get hit back-to-back 30s and then, like, I don't know.
It kind of is. So if you don't know, Abyssal Sire is like right near a fairy teleport. I think that's like the only way to get to it. It might be connected to the Abyss where you do the rune crafting, because it's kind of in that same area. The whole layer is kind of designed it with the same feel. But you go up there, you smoke barrage them to kind of stun them, and then it gives you a chance to kill these 4 respiratory systems that are really just there to make the fight a little bit different, I guess. They don't really do anything. You destroy them. He steps off the throne. That's how you kind of start the fight. And you got to fight him. It's a normal fight at first, and then when you get him down to like half health or something, he does this like explosion. He teleports you right on top of him, and then he charges up this like explosion move, and you just basically have to run south away from him and then turn around and run back. And he summons a bunch of these little dudes that you can use to heal with blood barrage. But the RNG part that I found was he summons these pools of poison, and like that makes you have to dance, like hit him, run 2 squares over, hit him, run 2 squares over, because he spawns it right underneath you. You gotta kind of run back and forth between like a 3-tile area to avoid it. And those things, if you stand on it, can hit like it hits you every tick for like 16s. It hits a lot.
Yeah.
I just found there's some fights he just never spawned them, and it made it so much easier.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And sometimes the little minions fuck you up. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like them, but I want to just get my last sire piece, my unsired, and then hopefully get a bludgeon piece out of that. Get the 25 mil, because I already have 2 pieces in my bank taking up space. Never killing that boss again. Unless I want to just like go for even flat 500 kill count in all bosses. Which I kind of want to do one day, but it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, unless you're going pet hunting, but you got that pet already, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, I got the pet. So I don't really have a reason to kill it besides the 25 mil. But yeah, so I did some sire.
And a lot of people don't like that boss because, as we like mentioned, there's a bunch of phases that kind of cause it to be a longer fight than it needs to be sometimes.
Yeah, it's just kind of boring too. I don't know. I find the only Slayer boss I like is Cerberus.
So yeah, Cerberus isn't bad.
I like him. But anyways, so did some sire, nothing really, nothing special. And then I did more raids. So I don't know, last week I mentioned I got, dude, that feels like such a long time ago. Holy shit, that's so weird. So last week I got Ancestral Robes. Yeah. And then I sold that, bought full armor minus the helmet. And that was like 70 mil maybe. I don't know. It was expensive as fuck.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So pretty much the whole cash stack went to that and buying a shit ton of scales and stuff like that to regen like my blowpipe and, you know, all that stuff. Upgraded to rune darts for bossing. Not bossing, nice. For raids. So that's nice. And then a couple days after that, it was... Did I talk about this? My 3 drops that I saw this week?
No, you've only talked about the Ancestral Robes.
Okay, so... I want to say it was like a Monday or something. It was like maybe like 2 days or a day after we were recording. Mm-hmm. I was doing some raids and I was streaming it, and this one guy that comes in, chills in chat, he's a really cool dude, was like, yo, let's do a duo. And I'm like, I'm down. So we go and do a duo. I get a dexterous scroll drop. So I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Damn. How much is that worth?
I went for 80 mil at the time.
Fuck.
Or like 79 mil, but yeah, 80 mil.
Still.
So we split that, which was super nice. And he was like 90 plus dry in duos. And so I'm like, okay, nice, man. You finally got something out of duos. He's like, yeah, dude. So later on that day, I'm doing some more. I did a bunch of bossing that day. And then I started doing another duo with my buddy / a guy that's in the CC. And he gets a dexterous scroll drop.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2 in 1 day. That sold for like 80 mil.
That's fucked.
And then with that, I don't even know what the fuck I spent. No, wait, oh, sorry. Oh, wow, sorry. I used the fucking Ancestral Robe to buy the crossbow and the Warhammer. And I used those dexterous scrolls to buy the full armor. And to get a bunch of scales and shit, just so I can charge up my trident and all that stuff. And then the next day, I'm doing it with the first guy where I got the first Dexter scroll with, and he gets dragon throwing axes, which are like, it's like 400k, but still another unique though.
It's something I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of nice. I guess got a lot
Pretty
of
good
uniques.
run, yeah.
A lot of uniques. My luck's probably run out by now though, so I shouldn't really
What's your
expect
current
anything.
kill count at?
62 or 63.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's decent.
Technically, I'm intermediate according to We Do Raids. So
How many tiers is that? Is that mid-level?
it's like one above beginner.
Not bad. You can start teaching soon. You can become a Sherpa.
Yeah, I don't know about that. A little bit of a ways away, but it's kind of cool because when you first start doing raids, you bring full void, and the setup you have like you can bring like fucking 10 brews in and like 4 restores. You can bring like a lot of shit into the raids,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it really really forgiving. Sorry, getting to Olm. And now with the setup I use, because I bring like bandos in, I bring Arma, I could bring 4 restores in. 4 brews, 2 restores. I have to bring Sandfuse now. And like I bring 2 staminas and then like the combat and the ranging.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes for like, if I make a mistake, I have to spend 10 minutes gearing up for like getting all my potions ready to like continue like the last room of the raid or something.
True.
So it's kind of annoying. I know what a lot of people do in my position when like use a setup similar to mine is they have an alt account that scouts for them, and then they find a raid and then they gear according. So it's like, oh, there's no Vasa, so I don't have to bring my Hasta. Yeah, I'm gonna bank that. Oh, there's no Guardians, I can bank my pickaxe. I don't know, just like whatever. And it allows
Kind of
them-
hoping that one would rhyme too.
Yeah, I couldn't really. No Guardian, Schmardian. I don't know. So, yeah, I maybe I should start trying to do something like that, because there's times where like I get to like the very like yesterday I got to like Mutadiles in like 18 minutes, and it was Mutadiles, and then my scavenger and farming room, and then Olm. So I would have been to the Olm room in 20 minutes, and I would have been killing it in like 25 easy.
Yeah.
But I had to fucking go all the way to the beginning because I just had no brews left. Because I had like the tightrope room where you have to kill 2 majors and rangers and they fucking hurt. They just light you up. I had to run all the way to the very beginning, do my farming, and then like go all the way back. And there's like 10 minutes of just like walking and farming, and it's kind of frustrating. It's annoying doing that shit, but
Fair enough.
it's a pain of souls, I guess. In duos and trios, we just go to the very end. Yeah, we also did some trios. Me, you, and my buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
We also did like a 4-man too, actually. Anyways, I guess you'll talk about that. I think that's it though. I think that's it for me.
Cool.
I'll just end it there, yeah. What about you?
Not bad. Myself. So as you mentioned, yeah, I did my first raid last week, beginning of the week. And yeah, I was surprised. It was pretty fun and kind of hard. Like, the fights themselves were pretty easy, but like you guys were able to kind of walk me through it and kind of carry me through. It was basically, you stand here and just shoot it. Don't worry about anything else. We'll cover it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, that's how it should work in trios and stuff and 4-mans.
So it's good because you get kind of it's a taste of it without being frustrated, because like if you've ever played World of Warcraft, you probably are familiar with this, where you're going to try a raid for the first time and there's a bunch of new mechanics that you're going to have to learn for each boss, and like your raid leader just says go read guides and watch videos so you can know what to expect, which kind of like, I understand why you have to do it, but it kind of sucks. It makes it's like you gotta kind of like study for this boss, and then you're like, you can't just go there and kind of push through it. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to sit there and die a bunch because one person didn't understand what to do, right?
Yep.
So you're having to like memorize all this shit, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. So anyways, doing this raid was kind of nice because you guys were just able to kind of tell me, especially for Ohm, there's a lot of mechanics you have to pay attention for, and it makes it pretty tough.
There was like one part where like, watch your feet. Watch prayer melee. You're like, why? What's going on? It's like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of shit that you gotta look at your feet, but also look at him the whole time. And
Yeah,
then
it's
make sure you don't
tough.
drop prayer. Yeah, it's pretty challenging.
It's like you get to it and like you've never done the boss before, and it's just like, okay, you're gonna stand at his left ring finger, his left or my left. It's always his left. He'll change sides, always his left ring finger. You're gonna shoot the other hand. When you both turn white, you got to stand on top of each other. So you move to this tile, this guy will, and that guy will come to this tile. Watch him because he's gonna switch between shooting crystals at you and shooting like acid at you. Switch between range and mage prayer. Every now and then, these bubbles or this crystal will spawn underneath your feet. Step one tile away and then step back on it. And he's going to shoot this red ball at you. So pray melee when that happens, or else it's going to turn off all your prayers.
Or range or mage.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to be shooting lightning at you, so you have to you have to dodge those while it's all happening. Every now and then, he's going to spawn acid underneath you, and you got to walk around to avoid it.
Yep.
It's just, and you're just like, holy fuck. Okay, so that's phase 1. Now for phase 2, and you're like, man, I've forgotten everything you just told me.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, it is fun though. It's pretty good when you have someone to walk you through it. And yeah, like I was saying, I'm surprised by how many mechanics there were.
Oh yeah. It feels really random. As you start doing more raids though, you kind of notice where it's like, okay, the walls of lightning come by. After that, we're gonna have to pair up. We like stand in one spot. And then after that, he's gonna do the fucking ground crystal shit. Like there's some stuff that you can like know it happens in a certain order, so you can kind of like start expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that are like I think are completely random, like the overhead thing where he shoots it, you drop your overhead, and you have to quickly and you lose a percentage of your current prayer too, so he can smite you out. And you're like, okay, now I gotta quickly like pray melee, range, or mage, depending on what color it is. Yeah,
it's pretty tough, but yeah, I agree. It is a lot of fun. I was surprised by how well done it was. Yep. And the only thing I don't like about raids is this whole scouting. The way you have to scout the raids in order to make it easier.
Well,
like I get why you have to do it, but it just seems, I don't want to say buggy, but
well, no, it's pretty stupid. It is dumb. You don't have to scout it. Like my first like 10 or 20 I didn't scout. And that led to my first solo raid being 3 hours because I had like Vespula, Tecton, Vanguards, Vasa, which is the slowest raid possible. And I just didn't know any better, right? It took me 3 hours to do that, where now it's like I can get to Ulm in a solo in like 35 minutes, easy. You know what I mean? And then it's like a 15-minute fight. Like
I said, it makes sense. It just, another thing I did this week was Vedian.
Yeah.
And I just save spot him every time. So you bring him to the spot and then you walk in front of him. So he can't hit you because you're right on the top of him, and it causes him to move back a space. You get him to this one certain tile and he can't move anymore. And then you can just go behind him and he won't hit you and he just stands there. It reminds me of something on par with that. Not as bad because that is super fucking buggy.
Yeah.
And
it is a little bit of abusing where it's like,
yeah,
it wasn't intended. But it makes me think, okay, well, why didn't they make Vespula Tecton a bit easier? And why didn't they make Guardians and shit a bit harder? They could have actually went and did balancing within the raid where they bring everything more to the middle, where you're not kind of forced to just go for like a certain four bosses. I mean, if you have an Elder Maul and Dragon Warhammers, then you go do Tecton because that now is easy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think people are like okay with or scouting. They're like, oh, it's whatever. It is what it is, right? It's something that we figured out, and Jagex isn't going to change it.
What would be kind of nice is if, like you said, they balanced the whole raid, so every single room was kind of as tough as the next one. You didn't have some that were easier than others, because you fix that, and then maybe just make it so there's like a cooldown when you go to scout, so you're not able to go in and out of raids nonstop to get the right rooms. Well, it's probably controversial.
See, I like that, but the only issue is that it hurts someone like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts the learning process. Like, so if you're max, you're high level raider, like the guy with the most kill count, he streams. His name's Lucid Dream.
Nice.
He's got like over 7,000 kills. Averages on averaging 6.5 hours a day of nonstop raiding.
Wow.
But it's probably more. It doesn't matter. He does, all he does is raids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way he does it is he goes in with like a group of 3 or 4. He does them in like 20 minutes, you know? Because he goes in with a group of 3 or 4. They're all in complete max gear. They jump in, do a raid. As they're finishing, people are like, okay, these are the raids we've already pre-scouted. And they have multiple scouts scouting raids for them. So by the time they're done, they jump, go into another CC, and they go right back in. And there's like literally zero downtime. So if you were to make a change to scouting like that, it doesn't affect them at all. But it would affect like me and you, where we were just like, oh, I want to learn raids. All right, so we want guardian skeletons, shamans, mutas. That's the dream. That is the perfect fucking raid. Perfect boss, or the combat rooms that you can ask for. Oh, and now it's going to take me an hour to find it instead of, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Max. But yeah.
I don't know.
I do want to say, though, I should have mentioned this during mine, but so like this week we brought you in to learn raids, and we're like, all right, stand here. And you're like, all right, here? No, here. Okay, cool. And you just stood there, did your shit, did what you had to do. And that was fine. I also brought in someone else, another friend of mine, to raid for the first time. And I didn't flame him. I don't want to flame someone for being new at something ever. I don't do that. But it was so frustrating. And it's not because they were dying or anything. It's their fucking attitude. And it's like, well, I want to bring it up. Because we went in, you're like, I want to have some fun. You guys can teach me. You guys will carry me. I mean, the first trio we did, that one guy... He carries me super hard. When we do duos, he gets like 90% of the points. He's got a twisted bow and everything.
Yeah.
And so like when we do it, it's like the demo version. Like, hey, we're raiding, but not really, because he's like doing all the damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just there to, split with him. But like me, you, and then that other guy, like our buddy in the CC. It's kind of more of like actual how it is. Anyways, you're there, you're like, man, I want to learn and have some fun, maybe get some loot. And I brought like another person in, and I think their mindset was, hey, I did a solo raid once when it first came out, and I did it, and like I just want to make money. I want to become rich and stake and everything. I want to be a big staker. I don't know. So like, they're like, I'm like, hey, do you want to come do a trio? And they're like, okay, sure. I'm like, nice. They're like, what do I bring? And so I say, you should go check out the wiki or tell me your Discord name so I can send you a screenshot of like gear loadouts. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't want to use Discord. It doesn't work. Discord doesn't work. I'm like, okay, it works. We're using it right. You know what I mean? It fucking works. You just don't know how to work it. And, you just don't know what you're doing. You don't have to go in the fucking browser version. Please, just like work with me. Anyways, they didn't. They refused to like do anything Discord related. And they didn't want to look it up on the wiki on like gear setups. And I don't mind explaining it to them, but it's easier when I can hold down my mic and say this, or send a screenshot.
Yep.
And, so I'm typing it all out, and I'm like, make sure you have Void Mage in range. You have necklace switches for Mage range and melee. Sorry, Void melee as well. Make sure you have, like, swaps. You need a Tribrid, a Hasta, you need a blowpipe, a crossbow. Like, I'm going over, like, everything, and I'm, like, making sure it's, like, this is the range stuff you need, the mage stuff you need, the melee stuff. You need a pickaxe, you need a rune pouch with water strikes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, I think I only did 3 of them, but every single time I was, like, looking it over, I'd look at the picture you sent me, and then I'd run through all the items with, like, you guys, just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, because it's just so easy to miss it, on top of all the equipment, the rune pouch, the pickaxe, and then all the potions. You're like... So I forgot something. You know what I mean?
If you guys ever watch my streams, you'll notice I go, fuck, I forgot my stamina. Ah, shit. Why do I have my Hasta in here? I have my blowpipe and my crossbow. Dude, I literally did a raid where I had Hasta whip, dragon warhammer, blowpipe, crossbow, and I brought like every item I had in the Ohm. And I'm like, what the? And I was really tired though. I still like didn't die when I killed them, so I was happy about that. But like, there's times where you brain fart and like I forget my rune pouch. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. I guess I can't stop moving this raid or else I'm fucking dead. Like, I have to keep moving left to right because I can't douse the flames. Anyways. So, I, like, went over all the items and I, like, I went over the items because I would, like, I literally pulled out an inventory and, like, read left to right and typed it out. And I'm like, okay, double check. You have a rune pouch with water strikes, not elks or anything. And you're on normals. Like, yeah, we're all set. Make sure everything's set. We jump in the raid. They're like, oh, I forgot this. Oh, no, I said, okay, you need to do this. You didn't tell me that. Yeah, I told you needed a Hasta. It's the first item I talked about. No, you didn't. I did, and if you were on Discord or looked at the wiki, this wouldn't have been an issue. Oh my god, Deegan. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I know I told them, but that's okay. Go into another room. Oh, you didn't bring your crossbow? You didn't say to bring my crossbow. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Yes, I did. You know what I mean? And they just kept getting like mad at me whenever they straight up forgot something because I know I told them.
Yeah.
And then we like got to Ulm. And then they didn't even bring their rune pouch and they start flaming me because like, you don't fucking tell me anything. And I'm like, why in the fuck would I tell you to, if you have water strikes in a rune pouch and to be on standard if I'm not gonna tell you to bring a rune pouch? And they get like really pissed and like blaming me for them forgetting everything. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's okay. I have a rune pouch. I will douse the flames for you. It's okay. It's not a big deal, man. Just fucking, it's okay. This is why we use Wiki and Discord, so we don't have these issues. It's alright. You can blame me. I know I'm not in the wrong, but I'll pretend I am. And then my other buddy that was with us in the trio, he ends up disconnecting during Ulm. And he disconnected for the whole fight. And this person was new, right? So they kept going into Ulm and just instantly dying. They which is fine. They died a fuck ton. But the issue was they would run in and say, holy fuck, man, raids suck. And they wouldn't even do the fight. They would run into Ulm and they would just sit there and flame the situation. Can we just fucking leave? This is a waste of time. We're not gonna be able to kill Ulm. You're the only one doing damage in a 3-man and I'm sitting there like fucking him up on my own. Like I can solo him when it's scaled to 3-man. It's not hard.
Yep.
Because once you know the mechanics, like for the last phase specifically, and their supplies already on the ground for me because they kept dying and just running supplies in and dying over and over again. Mm-hmm. Like there's no fucking way I'm giving up. And I just told them like, just play the game. I think I typed that in the middle of the fight. Just fucking don't get stressed out. Like you should be here for fun. Like raids are supposed to be for fun and money's supposed to be like a secondary aspiration, you know?
Yeah.
Type of a thing. But I don't know, I just want to like mention that because like, if you're trying raids, like first of all, like don't rely on someone else to do everything for you. But like also like, I mean, you might get frustrated if you're dying a bunch. I understand that. Like I got frustrated before where it's like when I die a bunch in a raid, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if you're especially going with other people, just try to have fun. And it was just super weird that like the different mindset between you and them where like you're there to have fun. You accidentally drop your Void Range Helm in the middle of a fight because you're trying to like stop commuting your Avas and drop your Mithril Ore. And you're like, where's my helmet? Oh, fuck, there it is. Oh my god, guys, that's silly of me. Ha! And we're like laughing and having a good time. And then this person's like, fuck this shit. I fucking hate you, Deegan. Like, not literally, but like flaming me and then just standing in Ulm dying, like not doing anything. Your friend DC's, what the fuck? But like, it was just super weird seeing the different mindsets. And like, if you're gonna try out raids, make sure you have like a mindset like Dill's or you're just trying to have fun, and you're willing to like learn from a fight and die, and just who cares, right? Just hey, I want to try out a raid, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I feel like it's a common thing with RuneScape. You can fall into this mindset where like you're doing it for the end result, but not because you enjoy it.
Yep.
It's confusing, but
I mean that's me and Sire right now. Enjoy it. I'm doing it for Unsire.
You're going through the grind, so
yeah. But people hear like raids are the best money per hour after 40 hours, but they kind of go, maybe I'll get a twisted bow, and that's the only reason why they're going is for that big drop. And it's like,
yeah,
well now no one's having fun. Good job, buddy. But yeah. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about before I kind of went on a little rant there? Little story time.
No problem. Yeah, a few other things. So I mentioned Vedian. Been doing that. I think I mentioned last week. Maybe I didn't, but I died, lost my Dragon Defender.
Yeah, that's why you don't bring it up to 30 Wilderness.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've talked about this one. Everything kind of blurs together, but decided I had to go back and get them all. Didn't have my Bronze Defender, so I had to go through all the Defenders. It took me like close to 1,000 kills, I think, for all of them.
Damn.
Yeah, which kind of pissed me off. It took me 675 kills of the big Cyclopses to get the Dragon Defender, even though it's 1/100.
Damn.
So I was losing my fucking mind with that one.
At least you get Elkables, right?
Yeah, sort of. You get some. It's nothing to get excited about, but
yeah. Got
98 attack from that. So that was kind of nice, I guess. And I think it was in the raids, I got an elite clue. I think that's where I got this one.
Yep.
And ended up getting a master clue. So I went through that, got Sherlock, got a challenge clue, and now I'm grinding for 85 mining.
Nice.
No, it's not. Not at all. So I was at 74, currently at like 77. The grinds are really slowing down. I tried to do some blast mining. That's in the Lovakenge house in Zaya. So that one you're supposed to make decent money, especially if you have 75 mining, because it gives you access to ores that are 10 levels above yours. So if I'm at 75, I can get rune ores because that's 85. It's a very click-intensive way to train it, and if you've ever done teeth farming, where it's something you're like on a timer, where if you fuck up, you lose a bunch of shit because with teeth farming, you're on a timer, and if you're too slow, a bunch of your farming crops just start dying. So it's pretty rough to be efficient. Same idea with blast mining. You have to place this dynamite in the wall, blow them up, grab the ore, and you get this dirty ore, and then you're on some timer where you have to get it washed before it just crumbles to dust and you lose it. So I was trying that. You can hurt yourself with the dynamite if you're within 2 tiles of it. So a lot of running back and forth, and did it a bit. It wasn't bad. I can see people enjoying it. It's a great experience and great money compared to the other methods. But if you kind of want to AFK, or like if you're like me and you get distracted really easily, you should probably stay away from it, because you need to give your full attention, or else you're just going to lose all the ore you collect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little rough. So I've been at Motherlode mining since then, because it's a lot more AFK. I finally got 100 gold nuggets so I can unlock that upper area. I got that today, actually, and it makes the AFKing a lot nicer. Still not great, but it's a lot nicer. And, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to 85 mining, because it's brutal. And I find, like, I start off getting, like, 50k mining experience per hour. Like, I start doing it really well. But then as time goes on, like, 15, 20 minutes starts passing, I start just getting bored, and I need something to do on the side. So I've been looking for a lot of, like, side games to play. I was playing RimWorld, but, started getting bored of that, sort of. I think it's just, like, I got my one colony to a point where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do with it. I got, like, 9 colony people, but I don't know, I just got bored and stopped playing it, really. Started playing some Civilization 5. Fun game.
Yep.
And then a terrible game to play RuneScape side by side with, but I started playing some League of Legends again, just a little bit. So that's a horrible way to get experience. Fuck, I find myself getting like 5k an hour when I'm playing that game. But yeah, I got a question for you, like you guys listening out there. What are some games or what are some activities you do on the side when you're doing a really boring skill or just something really AFK in RuneScape? Like, there's some games that just work so well with an AFK skill, but I'm curious to see what other people are playing, or if you guys are watching things, or, you know, just Netflix or Twitch or YouTube, or you're reading some anime.
Netflix, anime, Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley's huge.
Yeah, that's a decent one.
I don't watch too much anime, but it's like my backup. It's my farthest fallback. If I have no games I want to play while I'm skilling in RS, and there's no movies and TV shows I have lined up, I don't really like watching anime when I play RS, because it's like you have to read it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, you look away to like click a tree, and you're like, oh fuck, I missed like dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm curious to see what other people are doing as well, so definitely let us know, write us an email, or send it on Discord, Twitter, or Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. But, you know, that is basically my week right there. Some raids and a lot of mining. If I do get to 85 mining, it'll be nice to see what the profit's going to be, so we'll see. Although I doubt I'll be able to get it there.
I've given you like a million fucking TV shows and movies to watch.
That's the thing, though. Like, I just
go power mine and watch it.
Yeah, I could do that, but I don't know. I don't really feel like sitting back and just watching Netflix and nothing else. I find myself watching YouTube, AFKing on RuneScape, and then playing another game like Civilization. So I'm going like hard on like, I don't know. My ADD's been kicking in.
You're watching I don't know how big you are into movies, but if I'm watching like a solid movie that's like a good movie that's also 2 hours long, I mean, the issue is sometimes the movie's too good and I like stop doing what I'm doing on RS, I'm just watching it. But I don't know, it's like the best time to get some skills done. Like, power mining iron's not too bad. You just get used to the 3 points. You just click between 3 points and then drop every now and again.
Well, that's another thing too. I kind of want to be able to walk away with some money. If I'm going to be doing this for a while, it'd be nice to have something in my pocket. Plus, with motherlode mining, it's not as good as woodcutting or fishing, but you can kind of kick back a bit.
Yeah.
We will have to see. But yeah, that's basically it. Shall we move right on to the news? All right.
All right, so we're going to start off this week's updates with the quality of life week 4, which has a little bit of a twist.
Shit.
So, with the blast furnace, the second and third polled questions from the skilling blog was, should it be possible to click the icon of the bars whilst in the blast furnace, the bar stock interface to withdraw all, and then the one which would replace all and the take one options, like flip them. You know, so you don't have to right click and do take all. You can just left click now. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. You click the icon, it automatically takes all of them. But if you want to withdraw just one, you have to right click and click take one. So it's kind of opposite the way that other things are done. But
yeah,
it's because most people, there's really not many people who are just taking out one.
Yep. So the second one passed, which allows you just to left click and take all. But the third one didn't pass. So there's no take one option.
That's a little weird. I guess.
Yeah.
Is there controversy in that one? I haven't.
No, I think it's people not understanding what the third question actually meant.
Right.
So it says if the blast furnace bar stock interface is changed to allow the clicking of the icon of the bar to withdraw all, and this is what people probably focused on. Should the current all text be replaced with the option take one? People probably
so you'd have to click it 28 times to pull out a full inventory.
People probably thought that. Wouldn't surprise me. Anyways, so that didn't pass, but they just said, hey, why don't we just make it our make all interface? And so now they're pulling another question, which, should they just make it the blast furnace, should they make it a make all interface? And just replace the whole thing that you look at now?
So this kind of brings back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, or maybe even last week, that there's a bunch of interfaces for a bunch of skills already, like the smithing. It used to be the making bolts. Maybe not making bolts, but enchanting the bolts.
Yep.
And like leather working, stuff like that. There are already interfaces for it, but they got converted to the make all for whatever reason. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. The only reason, it's not like I didn't like it. I just thought it was weird because you can't make the smithing interface into the make all. There's just too many items to do that.
Yeah.
So it's going to stay the way it is, and I think it's weird to have that one being the odd man out. If you had a few of them that were still like that, you know what I mean? I don't know, it just... whatever.
Yeah.
I hope you see what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, there's too many things to the smithing to make a make all, but...
There's a lot of things that currently have the same interface that smithing has, but they're looking to revert them all to the make all, which is just going to leave that one always by itself. I don't know, it just... like I said, not a big deal.
Yeah. So here's the thing, which is kind of funny, is I mentioned that blast furnace is really stressful, and one of the main things that was super stressful was having to right-click make all, because, you know, well, at least for me, if I'm misclicking it or something, I just go, oh, for fuck's sakes, because, like, I'm literally wasting money. It's not much, but you're losing, like, 3 gold to tick or something.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It builds up, especially if you're there for, like, an hour, and you waste a collective of, like, 5 minutes. And you're there for 2 or like 10 hours total, and you waste a collective of 1 hour. You know what I mean? It's like, it's money wasted. I'm like, this will be nice because it'll make it a little bit more convenient for me. I can just left click the box. But now, and I wouldn't, this is why I'm saying this, I won't be surprised if it fails. Now I hold spacebar the whole time.
Yeah.
I go put my ores in, empty, I shift click empty, put my ores in, hold spacebar as I'm running, grab it, go back and bank. Like, now it's really, really easy. Maybe too easy.
Bum, bum, bum.
Like, it will probably improve, like, experience rates for the average person, for sure. But like I said, if you're botting, like, this won't affect you. You know what I mean? If you're someone to bot Blast Furnace, like, the make all or the right click shit, like, won't really make a difference for them. I think it's just for the average person that has to go there for 3 hours and they don't want to. But I don't know. I like to see what other people think about that. I want to see how this does in the poll. Anyways, so we'll move on to the actual poll questions that aren't related to Blast Furnace. So poll question number 2 is, should it be possible to claim more than one Royal Seed Pod from King Narnode Shireen after completing Monkey Madness 2?
Right, so that's a one-click teleport that's commonly brought into the wilderness because you can use it between level 30 and level 20.
Well, 30 and 0, but yeah, you can use it up to level 30.
Yeah, sorry. Most teleports you can't use past 20, but there's a handful you can use from 20 to 30. Like the Glory, the Slayer Ring. This is another example. This one's the best because you usually have your inventory already open. Clicking food, you can boom, click that to get out of there as well. Whereas the Glory, you have to use... Sorry, with the Glory, you have to go to your equipment slot, right-click, click on whatever place you want to go. And then if you're like me and you want to cheap out, you bring the Slayer Ring.
That 3-click telly.
3-click, and you have to spam 1, and sometimes that just doesn't work out, and you end up dying and losing your Dragon Defender. So that's what the Royal Seed Pod.
Yeah, that 1-click instant reaction telly's OP. The issue is that you have to go and spend 5 seconds telling to the GE and then running and talking to them and getting one back. I would like to be able to claim more just because I want to have 50 so I don't have to worry about it for like a week.
Yep.
Just get it all done while I'm there. Anyways, I kind of hope that passes. Because the drop trick works for most items, but not this. Anyways.
Yeah, that one, it would make things a lot easier where, like, I can just stock up. And I don't have to worry about going back every time when I lose it.
Yep.
But, yep.
Yeah, so should the Karamja Gloves 4, this is poll question 3, should the Karamja Gloves 4 be changed so that the teleport locations to Durdel and the Gem Mine show when right-clicking them in your inventory? I think that should be the case, because it's like that with some items, but not all, so just hurry up and do that. Should a remove all option be added to baskets and sacks of fruit and vegetables, such as baskets of strawberries and sacks of cabbages?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty nice, because I do bring baskets of strawberries to Kraken.
Oh, yeah?
Because I believe per inventory slot, it gives you the most health.
Yeah, because strawberries work on like a percentage base of what your health is. So let me pull it up real quick.
I want to say it's like 5%. I think they heal like 5 or 6.
They heal 6% of your maximum hit points, so...
Yeah, they heal you like 6. I mean, the brews do heal you more, but they're expensive, and they also bring down your other stats, so going to Kraken with a bunch of brews is a bad idea. Yeah.
And with strawberries, they if you have 84 hit points or more, the full basket of strawberries will heal you for 38 HP. So you can definitely see the benefits there. I used to bring that when I did questing a lot.
It's a nice, efficient inventory use based on your max health, but yeah. Rich get richer. So, poll question 5. If a remove all option is added to baskets and sacks, should it be possible to empty them into your remaining inventory spaces by left-clicking while holding down the shift? So it's just, can you remove or empty with just shift-clicking instead of dropping?
Yeah.
The 6th one is, should the various enchant jewelry tabs be changed so their left-click is used instead of break? Maybe people are accidentally using them.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Should it be possible for tool leprechauns to accept all types of compost in noted form? This is what we were talking about last time, where they upped the limit to 1,000. And then we were saying it's kind of useless to have that, but, with noted, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Bring in 1,000, you're set.
Got no opinion there?
Yeah. I don't farm, so.
I do, but I never had a problem with the 250.
Yeah.
Like I said, I bring like 10 to 15 compost with me and just stock up slowly as I did my runs.
Yeah. So, should we update the achievement diary interface so it's easier to track your progress? There'll be progress bars that scale from dark orange to yellow based on the completion of each task, turning green when the task reward has been collected. And the image they show looks really clean, and I think I do really like how this looks, so I think they should add this.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with diaries right now, it's stupid. They stay yellow until you complete the hard diary.
Yeah, like you got to complete all of them, and then they're completed.
Yeah, and like to do an elite diary, you need fucking really top stats to do it. Like I don't even think I'm close to any of the elites.
Yeah, so next question. When the Skull Scepter is equipped, should it be possible to check the remaining charges it has with the right-click option?
Sure.
And should the remaining number of uses you have in your Skull Scepter be displayed in the chat box after using a charge teleport? Consistency, so of course.
Sure, yeah.
Should a right-click unlock hint option be added to music tracks, giving you the information on where in the world they are unlocked? And the one they show is Inferno. Right-click, unlock, hint, Inferno. This track's in the Inferno. Like,
yeah, probably gave the worst example they could have out of all the songs, but I don't see a problem.
I mean, it is kind of weird to have this, but hopefully it wouldn't be a lot of work. This is a low-effort update, so maybe they already have all the code ready. I don't know.
I did just think it was kind of cool to kind of look through your... Like, I'm looking through my my music book right now. I have most of the songs, but there's a bunch of them that I don't have, like the odd one. And you look at them being like, I wonder where you actually get that.
Yeah. I don't really like this because, like, I don't know, devalues my music cape. Haha, no. I don't know. It's just weird. I always just assumed if you cared about this, then you just go and Google it. Like, what, like, I don't know. Like, are you gonna right-click hint on your achievement diaries next? Like, it's gonna be like, now we need to do this for consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the only reason why, I want to unlock, where do I start this quest? Right-click hint, because, reading the option isn't enough? I don't know. It just seems really weird. Or not reading the option, reading the quest is not enough, maybe.
Find it maybe
highlight. I don't fucking know. It is a really bad example, though, that they use. So maybe it's like, you like, unlock hint, and it's like, somewhere in God Wars, and you're like, okay. If it's something, like, very general, I guess it's one thing, but this isn't a hint. This straight up tells you, at least the one they use. So maybe because it's a bad example, I'll just stay neutral to this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Poll question 12. Should there be an option to disable the warning given when diving without any gear on Fossil Island? It would be possible to toggle this warning via Marin. Okay. Fossil Island updates still. I guess they really want that to come back. Should it be possible to add a single bank filler to your bank instead of filling it entirely? This option would fill the bank with a single click would remain. Wait, the option to fill the bank with a single click would remain. New option would be added to just add one bank filler. I think, yeah, just for organizing bank reasons, it's kind of annoying the way they do it now.
Where would you use this? I'm confused.
So okay, good example for me is the way I have my bank organized. In my equipment slot, I have all three types of mystics, all in a line horizontally, and then next to them I have the Zamrock staff, the Gothics, and whatever colors kind of match up with whatever kind of I felt seemed fit. And then I have my Mage Arena 1 capes. And then I have my placeholders for the Mage Arena 2 capes where I'd put them is Proselyte.
Gotcha.
Because I could do it another way, but that requires me removing them, filling my bank completely with fillers, and then going through and removing all of them but those two, because I have one of them already.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So it's not worth it for me as of right now. So it just makes it nice for organizing banks. So next one. Should the delay on movement after casting Bloom with the Blessed Sickle be removed?
Sure.
I think it would just make getting the fungus, the money per hour, a bit better. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
but there's probably
it's
better ways of actually getting it, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, if you're trying to make money, they're just really, doing blessing the logs and Mortania swamps, it's a good way for beginner, starter people to make money. Low levels can make good money from doing this per hour.
Fair enough.
Should we reduce the randomness of how the streams within Tiers of Gothic change? We'd make it so that each stream lasts for a short fixed amount of time before changing. Yes, I hate the randomness of this, even though I don't really do it too much now. I actually have to do mine. I don't do mine every week. I should, but
I do mine every week. I kind of like the randomness with it because it kind of made it more fun. If they changed it so it was fixed, it just seemed like, I don't know, not a big deal. You'll get more tiers, you know what I mean, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to picture it. I imagine it might feel more like a chore, where, you know what I mean? Like, oh well, I should be getting this amount of tiers every time, and if I don't, then I'm fucking not doing it properly. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's based on your quest points and stuff too. How long you can stay in there
true.
And stuff. So I don't know. Next question. I don't know how I feel about this because it's kind of weird, but should the elk value of imbued heart be increased, making it less likely to accidentally be elked?
What's it at now? Do you know?
Let us check. So right now the high elk is 8.4k.
Ooh, okay.
You can sell it for 17.8 mil.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because what do you change it to? Because right now I have my elk value set to like 58k or something, or 50k, so I can do elk rune pieces without having to go through the dialogue options.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever one the rune plate body is what it's set to. So you're going to make it more than a rune plate body, or you're going to bring it to like 30k and realize you got to bring it up even more.
Yeah, that's it's tricky because like even things like I looked up the Dragon Claws right now, worth 73 mil, elk for 123k.
Yeah, but you'll get the warning when you elk it.
If you have it set to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might have some higher rollers who have it like at 200k.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
some people that, elk dragon plates and shit because they go for elk value, right? Dragon plate legs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really know. Kind of weird. So I don't really know. Like, they should just fucking tell us what limit they should set it to. Whatever. Should the sound of the pet dark core be removed? Didn't know how to sound, so no comment. Maybe it's annoying as hell. Who knows?
I believe it is, but
yeah,
I
guess
gotta
so.
keep it in.
Should the stats tab be slightly? This is what people were kind of complaining about. Is why the fuck are you pulling this? But should the stats tab be changed slightly so the box containing your total level is aligned with the rest of your skill, and it's moving it up 1 pixel? Like that's this poll is like, let's move it up 1 pixel. Like obviously, just fucking do it. It's a waste of time to have to vote on it.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Check it out right now. It's just slightly lower than where hunting is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Should an additional game tick delay be added when closing the door in Castle Wars? Currently, doors can be closed on the same game tick they are clicked. There would be no change to how doors are opened. I think it's to prevent door jams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't do Castle Wars. I don't think anyone really does. But should the spinning wheel interface be replaced with the new chat box menu introduced with the make all improvements? So like spinning flax and shit.
So yeah, same idea.
Yeah. All right. That's it for that.
So interesting. Because you brought up an interesting point where there's a lot of things in here where I'm thinking like, why are these being voted on? Like, I understand that Jagex says they want every new change to be polled, and then it has to pass the polls in order for it to be implemented.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that you're reading, and you're just assuming they're going to pass. Like, imagine if the Achievement Diary new interface, it looks objectively 10 times better than what it is now. Imagine that doesn't pass, and now we're stuck with this shit. Like, well, I guess you guys didn't want... Like, they're just kind of assuming that a lot of these are going to pass. Same with the total level, moving it up 1 pixel. Imagine that doesn't pass for whatever reason, just out of spite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Jagex is super weird, and good example is our beloved Rev Caves, where they put armors in that weren't good. People vote no, so they put in like a bunch of alkables and shit. People are like, why? Well, this is what you get for not voting on uniques. Okay. Boom, let's triple the gold per hour. Everyone's super pissed. They go, well, that's what you get for not voting for uniques. 2 weeks later, they go and nerf it, which we'll talk about right now.
Love the segue right there.
Yeah, so they nerfed Rev Caves. So I'll just start by saying they anticipated for the average player to get between 1.4 and 2.04 mil. So 1.4 to 2 mil per hour, the average player. The typical player, they would say. So when they say the typical player, are they going off of what they showed in the data stream, where the typical player has 63 attacks, 67 strength, 1,106 total level? Like, that's what their average player levels are?
Ooh, that's a good. It's a good question.
So, because like they don't know what their typical player is, and we don't know what the typical player is, because we get shit wrong all the time. Like how I mentioned, if you're gonna do raids, hit 120. And this week I saw like 110 in full max gear with like 2k kill count. You know what I mean? Like,
fair enough.
We get shit wrong all the time, but Jagex, they do too, obviously, with Rev Caves. But I mean, when they say like the typical player, you have to assume that they mean this, where like they have 55 like defense, 63 range, 48 prayer, 63 mage. So the typical, or I guess the average player, is level 79. So are they expecting level 79 to be making 1.42 mil an hour?
See, that's where things get confusing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's what they anticipated. That's what they like wanted. So here's the thing. If I have 77 prayer and I have rigor and I have, I think I have like 97 or 98 range now. I don't know what I have. And I'm using a blowpipe with like rune darts or something, compared to this guy who he can't even equip a blowpipe. Like, if they're gearing this gold per hour towards that, it makes a lot of sense why max players are able to, like, maximum rates are able to get 5 mil an hour. It starts to make sense where, like, if I'm using dragon darts in my blowpipe, which people were actually using, fucking darts went up like to 4.7k per or something. Dragon darts, ridiculous. Anyways,
anything you'd see in the Rev Caves went up. Even the dark bow for PKers, it was
And I have rigor, and I like, I'm set, right? I'll probably 3-item blowpipe, anguish with my Pegations, and just make sure I literally can't attack players. Turn off left click on players, just completely disable it. If like of course I'm gonna make 5 mil or like more than double than the person that is like using a rune scimitar or a dragon scimitar.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or like a brine saber, they don't even have it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, so it does make a lot of sense why this happened, why this Rev Caves issue happened. But they also don't specify what they believe is the typical player. Because I assume the typical player is like around this level that plays, hopefully, like they like to play every day, but sometimes they can't because they have work and maybe kids, like they're busy with shit, or they have school, maybe work and school, and they can't play the game every day. I think people that play this game as much as like we do, I guess. I mean, you're in that realm where you go to work and you try and play every day, but you can't. Sometimes you're too busy. Sometimes you just don't have enough time in the day.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, there's casual players and there's hardcore players. I would say I'm like somewhere in the middle. I know we say the show's for casuals and stuff, but like I play way more than the casual player does. I play it every day almost for at least an hour. A lot of people just can't. A lot of people, their game time falls on the weekend.
Yeah. Okay, good example is a lot of people are busy enough where instead of going through all the news and trying to figure out what's going on with the updates, they listen to this podcast while they're at work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good example of like the majority of the player base like isn't that maxed account grinding 10 hours a day doing efficient raids and like screaming when Jagex brings in new shit.
Yeah, they're tuned in as soon as the Q&A starts, and they're sitting at the GE ready to flip the next item that they mention on the live stream.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to keep that in mind. If like I do hope Jagex assumes that's a typical player, because I know like Riot Games assumes a casual player is someone who only plays 3 games of League a day,
which is like 2 hours,
2 to 3 hours, like up to 3 hours a day of League. Like they admitted that they're very out of touch, because that's pretty fucking, if you're spending 3 hours a day playing a game every single day, no matter what, not no matter what, but every single day, like I wouldn't really consider that being casual.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I know we're kind of getting off topic right now. There's nothing wrong with playing a game that much, but that's like, it's a hobby, right? You're not really like a gamer. Point, yeah. But like if you're playing RuneScape only and you play like, let's say I play like 2 hours a day. sometimes I play more. Suddenly, like, RuneScape in itself is a hobby. You don't go say, yeah, video games is my hobby. It's like, no, RuneScape's my hobby.
Yeah.
And if you thought about a hobby, let's say you went to the gym. Like, people don't go 3 hours a day to the gym.
Well, here's the thing. If you do, you're a fitness junkie.
Yeah.
Because there are people, like, I've known people that will go to the gym every day and maybe, well, like 5 to 6 times a week, because you have to take breaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, like, how your routine is. But they'll go for, like, they'll be working out actively. They'll be actively in the gym, either waiting on equipment or working out or something. Like, 2 hours a day, almost every day a week. And, like, you don't think of them as they casually exercise. It's like, no, they're fucking into fitness. They're probably, like, eating properly. They probably take protein and, like, creatine. They do cycles of creatine. Like, you know, like, it's like, same thing with, like, RS players, too. I mean, we're like, in a complete other realm. Obviously, we're not jacked. It's kind of the opposite.
Can be.
I'm getting fat since I started playing a lot, let's be real. But,
you and I both.
so, like, I don't know, if you're playing, like, 2 to 3 hours a day, like, that's quite a bit. But, yeah, like, I would assume the typical player doesn't actually get to play every single day. They maybe want to, but they just have a lot of shit going on. And so if they're gearing this for 1.4 to 2 mil an hour for them, there's a guy that has max gear and 10 hours to spend where he's getting up to 5 mil an hour for 10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't feel like something like this should be geared for that casual player, in the sense that, like, they hop on, they can make 2 mil for that 1 hour they play that day. That's a fair chunk of change. I'm not saying make the game harder for casuals, but, like, something with that amount of money and how easy it kind of is to get there and how accessible it is to a bunch of different levels. Yeah.
So a good example is, let's say the typical player makes, well, okay, so I'll just say this. They nerfed the rates, like, way into the ground. So, like, it's still, like, okay money, I guess. But, like, if I go there, like, people were saying that, like, max rates were around 2.5 mil now. 2 mil, which is still pretty good. You know, might as well go do raids or Vorkath or something, or Zalra. If you can pull those types of rates at Revs. Anyways, so I think the conflicting issue is that they probably know how long the average person plays a day or how much they play a week.
Definitely, yeah.
And they know when people quit, and we've talked about this in the past. So the typical player is level 79, and the reason for that is probably because this is the part where they're starting to get burnt out and grinds start to get a little bit too long for them.
Yep,
if they're
100%.
new to the game, and they start to kind of drop off, where now it's like you're at 63. Let's just pretend you're this average person, right? You're at 63 attack. So you go and buy your dragon weapons, and you're grinding for 70 attack for your whip. You're getting close to 60 defense, and you get your dragon stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you're at 63, so you're gonna get towards 70 range, or you need your black D-hide and, you know, all this jazz. You're starting to get to these certain, like, points where, like, things start to kind of, like, ramp up, where you go from, okay, now I can get my whip at 70 attack, and then, you know, at 70 defense now, you're gonna buy Torags or Daroks, and then maybe at 75, you start looking for Bandos. Like, it's really...
Bando's
like,
65.
Oh, it's Bandos 65, sorry.
75 would be, like, Dragon
75
Fire
is, yeah, Dragon Fire Shield and shit, my bad. But, like, it starts to, like, really ramp up in price, and people start getting burnt out because they need money, and they also need to get, like, their mining level up, and they don't want to power mine. Maybe they motherload mine, but like you said, might take them a month to get to that point. So they try and, like, I guess make it easier. Like, it's fair to say, like, a lot of these, like, easy scape is kind of real. Like, games progressively gotten a lot easier since release, but that's how you retain a player base, is you make it more accessible. Maybe not easier, more accessible, but the issue is that RS is really divided, where with, like, casual players and then the hardcore player base, where, like, they have 10 hours a day. So if they're able to make 5 mil or, like, even, like, 3 mil in an hour, they're going to do that for 10 hours straight. And now way too much money is being put in the game, where as opposed to, like, the typical player would do it for, like, an hour and a bit and get off.
Yeah.
You know, they do it for an hour. Maybe they go make dinner. They come back. Let's change it up. Because they don't care too much. They got the money they need to do this, and now they want to do something for fun. Where, like, as you get more and more into the game, you start taking advantage of these, like, little weeks where they have Rev Caves that can give you 5 mil an hour.
Yeah, you need to find a nice middle ground, because the hardcore player base is your most dedicated players, right? They're the ones that will stick with you until things really get shitty.
They're the ones that are there when the game was at 15,000 concurrent players. And
Yeah,
they're still
exactly.
here. Like, I know people that were there during those dark times, and they haven't even quit the game since. And they're, like, max accounts with, like, max bank. And they, like, I don't have to do anything. I just play this game for fun now. Literally, I've beat the game.
Yeah.
Like,
And then compared to, like, casual players, which will come in and play this, maybe they're playing with friends, something's keeping them there. But you can easily see it where, like, a couple months later, you lose interest, you put the game down, and you're off to the next best thing, right?
yeah, now you're playing the new WoW expansion for a week.
Yeah, now you're playing that until you start getting burnt out with that one, and then maybe I'll see what's going on in RuneScape. You go back and check it. You know what I mean? You're kind of bouncing around, and you got to find this middle ground because there's way more casual players. That's where you're going to get most of your money, but the hardcore players is where you're going to get you're always going to get the money from them if you do things right.
Yeah, and like the game will always be there if you can retain a good player base.
Yeah, look at a game like Eve. I've tried it, but I didn't stay too long, and I'm sure a lot of people come on and play that game every now and then, and it doesn't stick. But it's got a really dedicated community.
Yeah, it's like Eve is a weird spot because they have like 25,000 concurrent players, and everyone has more than one account. Like not everyone, but you know, pretty much everyone that actually plays the game. So like similar to RS actually. Most people have more than one account, but it's different as in imagine in RS if you didn't have a Gargoyles account running, like what the fuck are you doing, idiot?
Yeah.
You like people do that. People have accounts just to kill gargoyles while they're doing other shit to make like a bunch of money. But
or wyverns or woodcutters.
Yeah. But in Eve, it's in the higher levels, I guess, the higher like not levels, but like dedication. Like if you don't have one or two, what are you doing? Like there's people that like make accounts and do this weird shit and like they it's like a month-long process and they like sell like it's weird. Like people like get really into Eve or they have like lots of accounts making them a fuck ton of money. I guess some people do that with RS, but yeah, I know what you mean. They have like a very dedicated player base where RS does too. I mean, RS I like to say is probably the most unique community as in, and I noticed this like since I started streaming is what was my go-to name when I made a Twitch and Twitter? Deegan RS. Like, you just add the R. Well, I mean, Deegan was taken, but it was Deegan and then RS, not like Dingus Magoo, which I like to put in my stream titles because I just think it's a funny name. But like, go by like you know, Deegan RS, and then people that come in and watch, their names is like Big Lips RS, you know?
Yeah. Dills RS.
Yeah, like everyone like they attach like an RS to like I don't know, I guess let people know. Then they play RS, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of cool how it's very common for RS players to do that. I don't know. Just want to bring that up. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, there is I know we're getting off on a little tangent right here, but anyways, RuneScape is pretty interesting where it's got like we could even break it down even more. You have the RuneScape community, and then you break that down, split them between RuneScape 3 and Oldschool RuneScape. Then you split Oldschool RuneScape down between PKers and PVMers, and then you got skillers, and then you got the people who go for 200 mil experience. You know what I mean? You got peers, you got tri-britters, stake. You know, you can just keep breaking down the communities, and then
Gambling addicts, yeah.
So anyways, let's run through this Rev Caves update because there's a few things that they have changed that we haven't touched on yet. But that was something I did want to talk about with the casuals versus hardcore players because with mobile coming around the corner, we're going to see a lot of new casuals coming into the game where if you're like me, always looking for a game to play when you're either taking a shit or if you're at work and you're on break or you got like 10 minutes of downtime, you want to pick up and be able to play a game that's, you know, I got tons of games on my phone like Final Fantasy 9.
Yep.
That's not a game I can pick up and play for 5 minutes and then put back down and then pick it up a few days later, play it for 5-10 minutes. It's just not one of those games. RuneScape, it is and it isn't, but there's, you know what I mean? There's so many things to do in RuneScape, so it's definitely going to bring the people who are playing like Clash of Clans and stuff. They might come check out this game, so.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the update. So, no longer can you put a dwarf multi-cannon in the Rev Caves. Nice.
Fair enough.
Weird that you could in the first place, but you know what? Jagex, you know, typical players, I guess, wouldn't put the multi-cannons. They didn't really think about it. I don't know, though.
Yeah. Shit's expensive.
You can put them in other places throughout the cave. So for dragons and shit, as long as you're not in the Revs area, you can't place it there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Each Revenant now has a percentage chance of rolling on the normal loot table. So the lower NPCs have a substantially reduced chance, and the higher ones have a higher chance, obviously. But it's not how it was before. The value of the normal loot table has been slightly reduced, focusing more on the number of resources being dropped. For example, Onyx Bolt tips have been lowered.
Nice. We did see that thing not crash, but it dropped a fair bit in price.
Yeah,
I guess it crashed.
Yeah, they completely took out Revs pretty much in World 345, which is the Perma Deadman world.
Yep.
Apparently, it was being abused super hard by clans that had truces, and they would just lock down Rev Caves and make stupid fucking money, and then like swap it and shit like that. So the only things they drop now are braces of Ethereum, Ether, and Ancient Crystals.
Interesting.
Yep. So if you had them, your ancient emblems, totems, and statuettes, medallions, effigies, and relics, they get turned to coins if you're in the Deadman mode world.
Okay, so if you're able to make your money, you still get that money. They're not going to take it away from you.
Yeah. It's just to fuck over people that actually did, maybe buy them or what. I don't know. Yeah. Doesn't matter. They want to leave the Rev Caves for players that utilize a Wilderness Slayer, but the Revenant NPC drops were, busted.
Yep.
So they opted to remove all items for Revenant NPCs and keep bracelets and stuff like that. So they just want to, clarify why they did it for Deadman mode, why they took it out pretty much. That's it for the nerfs, though. They don't really go in specific for nerfs, but people did say it's a huge hit.
Yep. Fair enough. I hope that's all we're going to be hearing from Rev Caves for a while. But on a live stream, they did mention that they want to revisit some uniques, possibly in March. So we might, this roller coaster ain't over yet, boys.
Just make them fucking untradeable. God damn it, Jagex. It's so easy. It's so easy. It fixes 6 different issues with just making them untradeable.
Yeah,
anyways,
it could open up some more issues. Who knows?
Yeah.
We will see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. I don't know. Just hire me, Jagex. I won't take a shit on your doorstep, I swear. Anyways, so we'll go on to this week's update. Rev Caves, so they buffed them again. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, oh, fuck, I don't have this tab opened.
So it is Oldschool RuneScape's 5th birthday.
Yay, happy birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday today. Yeah. True ain't? No, okay. Maybe hopefully someone gets that reference. Anyways.
It's not your birthday. What the hell are you talking about?
So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, it's their 5th year. Go to the Fowler party room. You'll meet Da Vinci, who requires some assistance on finishing his painting. You'll be given the in-game, remaining time to get the in-game reward to do the event will be until the 15th of March. So you got plenty of time. Yeah, you'll also get all the previous rewards.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you do. I know you have to get shit. I'm assuming you have to, I don't know, should I just spoil the item that you get?
Sure, if you want this to be a surprise, maybe fast forward about a minute.
Yeah. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get the prop sword. It's called the prop sword. It's the sword that separates Runescape on the image, I guess, with the main Runescape image.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm assuming the whole quest is you make the sword and then you take a picture, or you pose for a painting.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, but you'll need logs and a knife, a chisel, fishing rod and a fishing net, green dye, 2 Draenor teleports, a teleport to close gold and silver rocks, so Crafting Guild, the closest one to that you got, and then 4 Fowler teleports. And yeah, it'll be these ones are always 10, 15 minutes. They're really quick, and you get a really cool sword and a lot of other things that are good for Fashionscape. I should mention, actually, it has minus 1,000 stab slash, and it has minus 100 stab and slash, minus 50 crush, and minus 10 melee strength. So it's good for level 3 skillers, or people that want to level up their Slayer without dealing damage, getting experience, or anything like that related to combat. So moving on, RuneScape has some new merch, and a lot of it's sold out, like, super fast.
Wow.
Angelscape, he posts a lot on, the subreddit of, like, shit that he was making. But he is going to be overseeing all the design and manufacturing of this stuff in the store.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, so his product range will be exclusively available from the merch store, and the intention is to add the initial range on a monthly basis, adding more items. So he's got things like all the spirit shields. He's got the Ellie, the Spectral, the Arcane, and then, all that stuff. He's got, like, Hardcore Iron Man and the Iron Man shield with the symbol and a BTW on it. Good little meme.
Hey, he has the Wilderness Podcast icon.
Yeah, he's got a Dragon Dagger, which he stole the idea from someone in our CC, probably.
Yeah, so hopefully we see some revenue from that.
He's also got a Max Cape keychain, and they've got a Infernal Cape keychain. They have, like, the protection, the overhead protections. A lot of really cool stuff. I know a lot of it's sold out in, like, 15 minutes, so hopefully they've re-upped by the time you see this.
Mm-hmm. So some of them are pretty damn cool. Some are kind of cooler than others, but I just pulled it up right now. They're all about $14 Canadian. So it's like, what, $1.50 American?
Yep.
No, actually.
Free. They make money.
Yeah, it's in the negatives. But like something like the Dragon Fire Shield looks fucking sick.
Yep.
Some of them look really cool. You can get a prayer protection bundle.
Yeah, dude.
All 3 protections for $38.50.
Hey man, you live in a shitty neighborhood. Get protect range. Strap that on your coat. You're safe.
Hell yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding, by the way. Don't actually stop bullets. I don't want to be reliable for anyone getting shot.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard anyone getting shot that had that on them. So
that is true. 100% of the people have not been killed by guns while wearing that pin.
Yep.
Power RuneScape protects everyone. Anyways, so we'll move on to the update. That's PVM, skilling, PvP, quality of life, the end of the month. So players may no longer release black chins while in combat.
Okay.
Applies a deadman mode. Auto retaliation in PvP while under the effects of a spell that disables movement is now more consistent. Yep, so you'll actually auto retaliate if they come into melee range, so that you can't get barrage and then spect, and you're like, oh well, I can't hit him back with my spade.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Yeah, players who attempt to teleport to the same location quickly in PvP worlds will now be notified that there's a cooldown using the same teleport again. So you can't just spam Varrock teleports when someone tries to Gmaul spec you or something. The penalty for skipping a bounty hunter target that is more than 5 wilderness levels away have been drastically reduced. The current penalty is 30 minutes if the player is skipped within 5 levels. 3 minutes if over 5 levels.
Okay.
A reset option has been added to box traps. So if the trap has been successfully caught a creature, it will collect and reset the box trap. If the trap was unsuccessful, it will be picked up and placed down. Same time as taken. The time taken is the same as harvesting and setting the trap manually. So I think you can still manipulate to do it faster than these methods, which I think is totally fair.
Cool.
The Crystal Saw now saves charges if you don't need the stat boost. So you won't waste stat boosts, charge stuff thingy with the saw. If you need the saw to make something, as in like you need the extra levels, you need the boost, that's the only time it'll be used.
Yeah, I've screwed myself a few times by doing that.
Yeah. The interface for teleporting with mush trees on Fossil Island will now be accepting keyboard shortcuts.
Cool.
The Barge Guard at the dig site has now a quick travel option. You can only use it after the Bon Voyage quest.
Perfect.
When making jewelry at a furnace, left-clicking the furnace will now bring up the jewelry interface relevant to the bar that is being carried. If you have gold and silver, the regular Smeltwitch bar will come up. Nice. Okay. Compost bins that are ready to be harvested now have the option to collect. Sure. And the spellbook icon now changes colors to represent which spellbook you are on at a glance.
So if you play on OS Buddy, you probably won't notice this because they're pretty much the same.
Yeah. I know this update fucked Conduit for like a day for me, so I don't know what the hell they did. Unenchanted version of gold and jewelry. The unenchanted version of gold jewelry will now have a unique inventory model to help differentiate them and their enchanted counterparts. Emptying the contents of the gem urban coal bag. You now have the shift left click option on it.
I like all those where you can just remove everything with a shift click. It just makes, I don't know, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
That's a perfect quality of life update right there.
Yep. A metamorphosis option has been added to the Nibbler pet that you get from Inferno, and you can now turn it into a Zuck.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. And the same thing with the pet Dark Core. You can now turn it into a corporeal critter.
Cool.
Yeah. It is no longer required to confirm click here to continue on the final dialogue a servant displays when tasked with take something from the bank in player-owned house. There's still an extra spacebar option when you give them shit to bank.
Okay.
That's what I noticed, at least. I was doing Sire, and what I do when I do Sires, I bring like 20k with me, just in case I have to pay the butler, but when I get Restorers, I get him to bank them.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, and I noticed I had to go through an extra dialogue option. Maybe I'm retarded, but I think that's how it was. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. I remember being annoyed going, didn't they update this? Anyways. Players may now choose to have their houses rented without doors.
Okay.
Spirit tree locations and teleport options are now consistent throughout their option menus.
Okay.
Gotta go through that one. Gotta change up a bit. And there's like one or two. There's one more after this, but this is just, spirit trees to go from Tree Gnome Village, Stronghold, the Khazar Battlefield, GE, Felda Pills, all that hot stuff.
Good stuff.
The entrance to the Grotesque Guardians has been altered to be more fitting with the environment, and it looks nice.
Yeah, it's just before it was kind of like a portal.
Yeah.
Like a stone portal. Now it's stairs with a gate. So, yeah, looks good.
In other news, it is no longer possible to get stuck during the Great Brain robbery without the Ring of Charos or Charos, however you want to say it. Well, Frankenstrain has been stuffed in a crate. Simply head to the crate and select checked option. The Staphylight now correctly auto-casts all spells from the standard spellbook.
Nice.
When you kill Vorkath, the Spear of Dragon Bones will be remaining on the floor for 30 minutes as expected, making more consistent with other items being dropped in that instance. That is pretty much it. They did some capitalization fixing. Players are no longer forced to re-attack the Sire immediately after waking it. Okay. So, to specify, what would happen is, at least for me, when you go to start to do Sire, you bring in your blowpipe, you attack him on long range, and then you swap to rapid, because if you didn't do that, when you're going to cast a spell on him, you would, attack again. And same thing with rapid, right? You, would not have a chance to... It was annoying. So they fixed that, which is really nice. Yeah, as the attack they'd be prompted to use was frequently an unhelpful one. I think they intended you to just spam Smoke Barrage on him, but no one did that. They are aware of the poison-resistant notification after clan wars or raids is not ideal, so it'll be addressed in the next update. So once you leave an instance area, I don't know, I guess the resistance notification was annoying people. I don't know, maybe it gets dropped after you leave an instance area. I don't really know. Anyways, that is it for the updates for this week.
Cool. A few things that I had seen. First thing I'm going to run through is touching back to the 5-year anniversary of Oldschool RuneScape. They have a few displays, and I'll just run through them. They're kind of cool. Yeah, we'll just run through them. There's not really any order. They're just kind of randomly placed, but we have the rooftop agility display, and the Motherlode mining is also displayed. Those two were both created by different players. They had a little competition for create some content, and those two are the winners. Rooftops were designed by a player named Big Red Japan, and Motherlode Mine was created by a guy named Runite Miner. So that's pretty fitting, but yeah. They have Deegan's favorite display, the Nightmare Zone.
Yep.
They got a display of the Slayer helmet. They have the Goblin Invasion event, which is where you get the RPG and some of the Goblin, there's a Goblin staff that gives you negative bonuses and stuff like that. They had this event during the first year, which was just kind of a fun event. I wasn't actually really playing when it was out. It was a fun little event that stuck around for a bit, and you could fight this, I think it was a boss with some of these new weapons, but they made I don't know. It was a little fun event that they took out after a while, but they have a display for that. They got General Grador and the armor display set up. They got Zulrah, Corporal Beast, Iron Man and Ultimate Iron Man. They got the Kraken display, Elite Clue Scrolls, Sire, a Dead Man mode display, Achievement Diaries, Cerberus, Zam map display, and the Grand Exchange. They've got Monkey Madness 2, Master Clues, the Great Ohm, Wintertodd, Scotizo, Hardcore Iron Man, and kind of like a player-owned house display. Like it has the Altar of the Occult, Ornate jewelry box, Max Cape stand. So they got Grotesque Guardians, the Inferno, Fossil Island, and a Vorkath display. So basically, like, I guess the most notable things they've added into old school RuneScape, and a lot of it's a standalone. A lot of it's like only been released in old school RuneScape. Some things haven't, but like, it's kind of interesting. Thought I would bring that up. If you want to go check it out, it's a pretty cool little thing they put in. That being said, there's been some Raids 2 boss designs that have been released. We're not going to go through and try to describe them over this podcast, but what we're going to do, we'll display them on our Discord server, and I guess I'll put them on Twitter and as well as Facebook and see what you guys think. They look really cool from what they've released so far. They look very cool for like a vampire-themed raid.
I was going to say, though, for the displays, everything has been up. Like, all the displays are like update-based. They have the one with someone being killed with a Dragon Warhammer.
Yeah? Oh, for Dead Man mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when there's a streamer named Bodhi, which if you might be familiar with, but he's a pretty big Dead Man mode streamer, and I guess there's like a little event that happened there where he got killed from a Dragon Warhammer.
Yeah, so like the thing, which I think it's kind of funny, but some dude got a Dragon Warhammer in Dead Man mode and was like trying to sell it on the subreddit, and people flamed him saying it's useless. And then like a couple days later, he kills like a streamer with it. He like finishes him off with a Dragon Warhammer.
Yeah,
but I do think it's kind of cool, the variety of the displays they had.
Yeah,
they like included all aspects, and I guess with that one, they kind of included like the subreddit community aspect of that because people memed on him a lot about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool they added that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a fun little thing to do for the game.
But yeah, sorry, you want to continue?
Yeah, so lastly, I wanted to mention up, and this is probably something we should have brought up before, but hey, we're going to do it right now. So a few weeks back, they changed all the models for... Is it a few weeks back or just 1 week back? I don't know. They changed all the models for the Mage Arena 2 bosses. So these bosses are now Porzadir, Judiciar, Zachariah, and Durwin. So they've had their mechanics changed as well, and they're much more fitting for the actual fights. So I'll just quickly run through them, and I guess Deegan, you can give your opinion on whether you like them or not. I'm sure you will, but...
I haven't fought them yet.
Okay, well, I'll run through it. The Porzadir, which is the Zamorak demon. One of the mechanics he does, he shoots an energy ball at the player. The damage dealt is based on how far away from him you are. So the further you are from him, the less damage it deals. And if you're extremely far away, it will deal no damage. But if you're right next to him, it'll deal quite a bit of damage. Judiciary Zachariah will occasionally swing a sword, resulting in a blue wave aimed at the player's current tile when it was used. If you do not avoid that tile after he shot it, players will be dragged right next to him while he will start attacking you with melee. To avoid this, simply move away from the tile that the wave is targeting. And Durwin can launch energy balls on the ground that heal him for 5 health every few seconds. They must be destroyed to prevent him from healing. Each ball has about 20 health. I'm just going off the wiki right there for that one. But it's pretty cool that each fight's a little bit different. It's kind of fitting for the gods that each of those monsters represent.
Yeah, they sound pretty cool.
Yeah, they've also changed the items that it drops. Instead of it being 3 different hearts, it's now a demon's heart, Judiciar's hand, and an Ents root. You need those 3 items instead. So, kind of how it should have been on release. But I guess they slightly redeemed themselves there.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I had seen happen this week is a RuneScape player named Homer has been the first player to receive every single pet in the game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. There's a shit ton. You get tons for skilling, tons for bosses.
40 total.
40 total. So wow, that's so congratulations, first player to be able to do that. And I guess he has that title until the next pet gets released.
Mm-hmm.
Which will probably be raids too. We'll have to see. Yeah, so that's about it. Nothing too much that I had seen. And with that being said, I think it's time to move on to, you know what time it is? It's time for lore. This week for lore, we are staying on the topic of races. And this week we are talking about the fairy race. Fairies are a race of winged humanoids that live in the city of Zenaris. You encounter them during the Lost City quest, which is when you discover the city. Although unlike many of the other races, Zenaris isn't actually in Gielinor. It resides on the moon that orbits Gielinor, or Runescape. Fairies often travel to Gielinor and are rumored to be in charge of the world's weather, the growth of crops, and the passing of seasons. Majority of fairies are of the Guthix faith, but there are exceptions. It is said that fairies have lived in Zenaris long before Guthix had even arrived. It is often described as the nexus of all planes, and when fairies first arrived on Zenaris, they found it to be a place with many dormant magical properties, with the ability to jump between planes of existence using a powerful portal that had been sealed away for centuries. Zenaris is ruled by one queen, and that fairy queen harnesses the power and used it to create the network of fairy rings that we know on RuneScape. Guthix, the god of balance, later traveled to Zenaris during his search for a world during the First Age. Upon finding Gielinor, he used Zenaris to bring many peaceful races to Gielinor. Many people deny the fairies' existence and believe it to only be imaginary creatures. And so little is known about their culture and history. And I think that leaves it for this week's lore. And a quick note, I think I said Zenaris was a city, but I believe it was first, Zenaris was the name of the moon. Later, built a city within it. But yeah, probably one of the more older races in RuneScape, if not the oldest race. But again, a lot of their history isn't really known to us, so it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, there is lore this week, and I think we're going to continue on the theme of races for just a few more weeks before we move on to probably the history and start going through the different ages of RuneScape. So we'll get to that in the near future for sure. And now we're at the part where we start plugging all the ways that you guys can get in contact with us or stay updated with the show. So, number ways of doing that, you can hang out with us in-game by joining WildCC. You can follow us on Twitter at TheWildernessRS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email is TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. And we have a Discord that, if you guys want to join, it's pinned on both Facebook and Twitter. But if you're having trouble finding those, you can always let one of us know and we'll get you a link. Hopefully one day we can get the old, I don't know if they become a Discord partner or something, but I would love to be able to just type in discord.gg/wild or whatever it is, the Wilderness Podcast. You could join our channel.
Boys.
Yeah, Wild Boys. But right now it's just a bunch of letters and numbers.
Yep.
So yeah, just click the links that we have both on Twitter and Facebook if you're interested in joining. That's probably the easiest way of doing that. And anything you want to throw out there?
Follow me on Twitter. At DeeganRS, and my Twitch is DeeganRS as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, trying to be more active on Twitter, mainly just like tweeting out drops and shit I get. I don't really know. Don't really have many random interesting thoughts to tweet out, but I'm starting to be a bit more active on it, and I stream like at least 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes more. Just stream quite a bit.
You got a schedule figured out yet for your stream, or do you just do it at random times?
I have like set areas. I don't know. It kind of depends on what's going on that day.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Very cool. So yeah, again, you guys can always let us know what you think about this week's update or give us feedback on the show on any of the things that we mentioned. If you're watching it on YouTube, feel free to just drop a comment telling us whatever it is you want to tell us. And yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys do on the side. Or sorry, I'm interested to see what you guys all do beside RuneScape when you're doing some of the more AFKable skills. You know, maybe you're playing a different account. Maybe you're playing like an Iron Man or a Pure. Maybe playing a different game entirely. Maybe just kicking back watching Netflix or YouTube, whatever it is. But I guess that's that. So I guess we'll end it right here.
Yep. All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. This was episode 72. Join us
73.
next week. Shit, damn it, you're right. Fuck, that was close. Good call.
That.
Yeah, that was good. You're waiting for that. Join us next week for 74.
Yeah, have a good one.
Fuck, they're all starting to blend together. Later, Gators.